Hi everybody and welcome to Cooking with Dan. This week we are making a chicken tray bake with loads of roasted veggies. Really easy to do. All we have to do really is chop up a load of veg and mix it all in with some herbs and spices and oil in a big baking tray, slap it in the oven and we're all good. So let's get started. So here we have our ingredients. We've got some lovely veg here. We've got carrots, we've got broccoli, tomatoes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, red onions, peppers, lemon, herbs. We've got an apple there, some garlic and a bit of chicken at the back and some oil to bind it all together. So the equipment we'll be using today is a large baking tray, a chopping board, a knife, spatula and a veggie peeler. Okay, first things first, we need to turn our oven on to preheat and we're going to do that at 200 degrees. Okay guys, so it's time to chop up all of our ingredients. So I'm just going to organise myself a little bit here. So the idea of a tray bake is it's dead simple and all we need to do really is just chop everything up and put it in a big tray and put it in the oven. So fairly easy to do, it's just a lot of chopping skills to practice. So I'm just going to wipe down my surface and I need to go wash my hands now. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear brother, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday blah 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 blah, happy birthday to you. Okay, so that's my hands washed. Now I need to get my chopping board, get my knife, and get ready to chop up some veggies. Okay, so what I'm going to chop up first, the things that are going to take a little bit longer to cook, these are the potatoes. So I'm actually going to peel them. I have an apple that I might peel later, but we'll see. So I'm going to start by peeling the potatoes. Move them over there, and I'm going to peel these potatoes first. These potatoes are very dirty. I got them off a veg box that I had delivered. So they're quite fresh, but they're covered in soil. So I didn't think I'd have to wash them first. I thought I'd just peel them, but I am going to have to wash them because if you look, all the dirt's spreading all over the potato. So what we'll do, we'll just peel it, finish off peeling, and then I'll rinse these and wash all the dirt off. But ideally, do it the other way around. They are dirty, so we're going to wash them. Much better, look at that, lovely. Okay, let's clear a bit more space. I'm going to peel the sweet potatoes now. See, with normal potatoes you don't always have to peel them if you're baking them like this. Sometimes you just wash them and the skin's quite nice, it's quite good for you, it's got a lot of fibre. But in this case, because the other potatoes were so dirty, I decided to peel them, but I should have just washed them really. Sweet potatoes I tend to like to peel, but again I think you can leave the skin on, but the skin's a lot tougher on a sweet potato, so I prefer getting rid of the skin, just peeling it. Okay, So potatoes are peeled. I'm just going to chuck the peelings over here, ready for my compost. And now we're going to chop up the potatoes. There are a couple of... Oh, I'll tell you what, we're going to get the carrots ready as well, because they'll take a little while to cook. So we're not going to peel the carrots, we're going to wash them. Because like I said, peel is quite good for you. But what we are going to do is just take the tops and the tails off. So base of the carrot and the tip as well. And then we'll chop all these together. So I'll grab my knife. Be careful because obviously you just washed the carrots, so your hands will be wet, the carrots will be wet, so they might be slippy. So just be very careful, especially if you're using a sharp knife. Just check in on there that there's no bad bits on any of the carrots. If there is bad bits on any of the veg, it doesn't mean you can't use it. You just might need to cut some of the bits away. For instance, I know on these potatoes there are a couple of nicks and scratches where it's gone a bit dirty inside. All I'm going to do with that, I'm just going to cut those bits away because the rest of the potato is absolutely fine. Just topping the potato and sweet potato as well. Here we've got the bruises and stuff that I was just talking about. All I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to chop little bits off, just to get rid of that blackness. Again here, I'm just going to cut a little valley thing. This might be a bit trickier, so again, if you need any help, just ask your parent or your carer. Let's check on this one. Well, yeah, we've got a couple of little spots. Okay, so now I'm going to chop into small pieces. I want the regular potato to be a little bit smaller than I chop the sweet potato, because the regular potato will take longer to cook. So if it's in smaller bits, then hopefully it'll cook at a similar time to the sweet potato and the carrot, so that it'll all be ready at a similar time and cooked at the same kind of rate. So you see here I'm doing around about a centimetre squared-ish for the potatoes. For the carrots and for the sweet potato I'm going to do 2 centimetres squared. So that's about the size of your thumb wide. See, that's a bit chunkier. Now I'll cut this in half. This can be a bit tricky because it can stick a little bit, so just go easy. Bosh. Big, nice, chunky bits of sweet potato. I love sweet potato. Absolutely love it. I believe it's one of your 5 fruit and veg a day as well. Potatoes aren't, because they're too starchy, but I think sweet potato is one of your fruit and veg a day. Although, you know. Okay, so our carrots are pretty much done. Once they're all finished completely, I'm going to put it into a bowl and get ready to mix it all together. Again, the general idea of this tray bake is it's super easy. All we just need to do is chop things. So once we've chopped everything, we mix it all together and it's easy peasy. It just bakes in the oven. You don't really have to look at it. So we're putting an apple in with the veg as well. Obviously apples have cores, so we need to chop them into quarters and then we'll chop down the middle to take out the core. I'll show you this side because it's easier for us to do to see, but I'll actually chop the other side because it's easier to do it right-handed. See the core's out there. There we go. While I'm doing that, I'll just You may be thinking apple is a bit of a weird thing to put in with a load of veggies and chicken, but it actually tastes really, really nice. It sweetens everything up a little bit, a bit of natural sweetness, which is lovely, and it yeah, it just goes really well with kind of veggie bakes. Just chop it up into slices and then half them. Once we've chopped them in, we'll put them into a bowl so we can put them with everything else. Okay, red onions next. You remember how we peeled red onions? Same as last week with the fajitas. We'll take the ends off and chop down the middle, and then we're going to peel just the outer skin out. We're not going to chop them as finely as we do for the fajitas, we're just going to chop them into chunks, and then they'll all break up a little bit in the roasting pan. What we want from the onions is to caramelise a little bit, so they go a little bit sweet. The red onions are best for that. God, I did a lot of onions. Right, so we're putting them in with the potatoes and the carrots. I'll show you them all mixed in a second. But first, I'm going to come back and we're going to cut the peppers next. So peppers, I nearly forgot there. Whew! They need washing. Because we are not peeling the peppers. We need to wash the peppers so they're safe to eat. Again, we'll take the top off, cut around the top. Easy peasy. And get our fingers in there and scrape out those seeds. We don't want them seeds, they make it all bitter and horrible. Okay, so as I'm just chopping up these into little strips, I'm gonna speed this up for you guys. Cool, so we're putting them in with the apple, ready to put them in together. They will cook at a similar sort of time. This is me showing off my broccoli, but first we're going to chop our tomatoes. First, though, we're going to wash them. I'm using these tomatoes mainly because I had them left over in the cupboard and I thought, wow, they'll go alright. So, I've taken the green bit off, and we're just going to chop them into wedges. Right, now here's the broccoli. Hey, I'm going to wash that because, again, we're not peeling it, so I'm going to wash it. Now, I only want little florets of the broccoli, I don't want the whole thing, so I'm just going to cut round the little trees like this. Just be careful of your fingers because you could quite easily slip here. So what I do, I just turn it around, I chop off the little bits, and then I might chop some of them off in half, I think they're a bit big. But I love roasted broccoli. Roasted broccoli is one of my favourite new things, to be honest. I never used to like broccoli at all, but I've got into it as I've got old. All our veggies chopped, now it's time for some herbs. So I've got some rosemary here from the garden. I'm just pulled down on the rosemary and it breaks off the little shoots. Don't really want the stem because it's a bit woody and sticky. It doesn't really add anything. We just want the little branches, as it were. So I've got rosemary here and I've got a little bit of thyme there. They're both from my garden. And what we're going to do, we're going to mix it in. Well, first we're going to chop it up on this chopping board, and then we're going to mix it in the pestle and mortar with some garlic and some lemon juice and salt and pepper. First you've got to chop, so bunch everything together and really carefully and slowly just chop it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, just roughly. It just gives you a chance to mash everything together a little bit. If you've not got a pestle and mortar, again that's fine. You can just chop things up and mix it in a little bowl with some crushed garlic and some lemon juice and some ground salt pepper. Not a problem. Okay. So pop the fresh herbs in. Okay, now we are going to get some black pepper. These are whole black peppercorns. I'm going to put them in here. A little bit of salt. Some of garlic paste. That is the best. It means you don't have to peel garlic. Peeling garlic is rubbish. I hate it. A lemon, half a lemon. If you put your fingers there, then you will catch the pips. And a little bit of oil is what we need now, just to mix everything in, cover the roasties and everything like that. Not too much, so that's all good. I decided not to use paprika in the end, even though I've put it in all the shots. Okay, so we're grinding this together. Don't worry too much if you don't have a pestle and mortar, you can just mix it together in a bowl. It'll still have a similar effect. Pestle and mortar is probably a little bit better, but look at that lovely mix. That's going to go all over our veggies and all over our chicken. Okay, let me get everything together. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the pan just to make it alright. And bosh! In goes our veg. I'm going to put about half of this mix in with the root veg. And I'm going to leave the rest for the chicken. I'm going to put a little bit more oil on, and then I'm going to mix everything together super quick, and it is ready to go in the oven. So our oven's been heated at 200 degrees. I'm going to pop this in here for about 20 minutes to get them started. After 20 minutes we're going to take it out and we are going to put in the chicken and the rest of the veg and mix everything together. Cool, so while that's cooking, we are going to have a look at our chicken. We have some chicken thigh fillets. Again, you don't have to put these in if you don't want, or you could put in sausages, work quite nicely, or you could put in some turkey, or if you wanted you could put in some tofu, some corn, something like that, or just stick with the veg. The veg is quite nice itself, to be honest. Maybe with some beans. I'm washing my hands because I've been handling the raw chicken, don't forget that. And now I have the rest of my lovely mix here. Just going to scoop it out and I'm going to chuck it on the chicken. Try and get as much out as you can. Just slap it on. Cool, so I'll put that in the wash. And now it's time to rub in this chicken with this lovely mix. Right, that's sorted. Let's wash our hands. Okay, so it's 20 minutes later. Let's see our lovely roasted veggies. So these have been in for about 20 minutes. They're looking delicious already. It's time now for us to mix in the chicken, and it's time for us to mix in the other veg. And as per usual, I have been a bit greedy and I've cut up too much veg, so it's going to be quite difficult for me to mix it all in successfully, so bear with me here. I'll put the chicken in first and try and make sure there's space for that. Again, really make sure you're washing your hands when you're touching this chicken. And now we'll mix all that in. Lovely. And now, splosh, we have the other veg. Now what we want to try and do is mix all this in as much as we can so we get that coating on all the other veg. So it has a little bit of oil on it, a little bit of seasoning, and look, I've got escaping peppers all over the shop. I told you I'd cut too much veg. Right, bear with me, I'll speed this up while I mix everything in. I'll put a little bit more oil, a little bit more seasoning, and I'm going to mix it with some spoons, because that was a bit easier to do. The spatula wasn't really working, so I gave up on that. Cool, so it's ready to go back into the oven. I'll put it in here for about 40 minutes. So everything cooks down, gets all nice and soft and crispy, And yeah, I check halfway through just to give it a little bit of a stir around and recover some things and some juices, and let's see what happens. Right, it's time to take this out and give it a little bit of a stir. Steamy. Ooh. Ooh. Careful getting it out of the oven. It's been in for about 20 minutes. I've given it a bit of a stir, I'll put it back in. And now we'll go until my camera runs out of battery. Ah. Here's the finished project, veggie tray bake. It looks delicious, everything's cooked down nicely. There's some crispy veg on the top, some softer veg in the bottom, and there's a nice sort of saucy mix all over. Enjoy!